I've been in the chat rooms for a long time. I helped Leo Laporte run his chat room in the mid-90s. And so I've always been interested in how people use chat technology to communicate. And today we're seeing a new company with a new idea of how to make chat more relevant for the world, Convore. Who are you?
I'm Leah Culver, CEO and co-founder of Convore, formerly co-founder and technical co-founder of Pownce, which was acquired by Six Apart in 2008, and then I was at Six Apart for a while, so sort of in the blogging, chat sort of space.
Why chat? You know, out of all the things you could do, because I know you've done iPhone apps and you've done all sorts of programs, why chat?
I love chat. I mean, I'm on IRC and on AIM almost every single day, and when we were working on Pownce, what we actually found was so What is Pownce, by the way? So Pownce was a social networking site and microblogging site. It was actually shut down a couple years ago, so it's not actually around anymore. But it was a way that you could like post photos and videos and funny things to your friends, and they could comment on them, and we ended up seeing that a lot of people were really getting into the commenting aspect of Pownce. So it was, in a way, a little bit different from microblogging sites like Twitter, where there's not really, you can @reply and you can retweet, but there's not really like a threaded conversation. New Twitter has now threaded conversations, but what we found was over half of everything sent on Pownce was a reply. It wasn't a top-level thing. It was actually people talking to each other. And so what I realized was people really want to do this online, right? Like we love chatting, we love having conversations. So what I wanted to do was build a tool that really allowed people to sort of get into groups and converse and have that experience.
We've had IRC chat, which all the geeks know how to run, but you know, normal people don't really participate in it very much. How does it differ from IRC chat?
So I love IRC. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love IRC, and I'm in a bunch of channels with friends and for open source projects and for work. But one of the things we came across is some of my friends won't join IRC because it's too difficult, it's a steep learning curve, and there's all these little tricks and games that people on IRC play. And that's great, but we really wanted to sort of build something that's for everybody.
Talk about some of the tricks on IRC, and does Convore do the same kinds of stuff?
So one of the things IRC does is you have a nickname, and there's not really any way to sort of reserve your nickname. Every once in a while you could lose your nickname to someone else. And we have the concept of when you sign up, you get a username and it's yours forever. You can also sign in with Twitter and Facebook, so it makes it really easy to get started. And everything's sort of stored and hosted, so you can go back and look at old conversations. Also, when you come online, you can catch up on everything you've missed. With IRC, there's no history. You just sign on and see what's happening that day. But with Convore, you can sort of keep track of things over time.
And it's all web-based, right?
Yep.
So you don't need to download a
No
player.
downloads necessary. No, you can just sign in with Facebook and get started right away.
And does it work on all the mobile devices like iPhone and iPad and all that stuff?
Not yet.
Okay.
So we have an API, and we're definitely considering other platforms.
Tell me a little bit about how it differs from other kinds of chat systems out there, or communication systems. Because a lot of people are like, they're on Facebook, and Facebook is sort of like chat because you can do live commenting, right? Why do we need this, and what's different about it?
So it's all real time and definitely has a very chat feel. So very instant messaging, instant updating. And one of the really unique things about Convore is there's the concept of topics. So you're in a group with friends, but you can also create topics of conversation, which sort of keeps the conversation flowing and organized.
Can you limit the topic to certain people, or is it always a public?
So the group is the limit of the people, right? So you create a group and that limits who can see things, but then the topic is more a limit on what the conversation is about.
And tell me a little bit about how it was coded.
So it's Python and Django, right? And using Postgres for the back end and a little bit of Redis. and some more real-time.
Now you just mentioned 4 products. Explain what they are to normal people, like Python and Django. Python I know is a programming language.
Yeah, Django's a web framework, so we do all of our front-end sort of rendering in Django. So Postgres is our main sort of storing messages, while Redis does more of like the real-time presence, that type of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the fundamentals of the company.
Yeah, so we were initially funded by Y Combinator just this past January. So we're still in the Y Combinator program.
Class or whatever they call it.
The class. So that's our funding so far. We just started in October and started Y Combinator in January.
And what's that like?
It's interesting. It's exciting. It's a really exciting group of young entrepreneurs getting very excited about a variety of different things.
How did you guys get in?
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the founding team. So that I've done a company before, and that my co-founders are technical and well respected and have done startups before and are very good technically.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
And so what's happened since then?
So we've been building product for the past couple months, building the website, getting everything going, testing the product actually. We went through a couple iterations. We had about 50 initial beta testers, alpha testers, and then we added more when we joined Y Combinator. We actually had everyone at Y Combinator trying the product and revising it based on that, and then just launching last week. Yep.
And tell me about the launch. You were in TechCrunch and Mashable and other places. What was that like?
Yeah, exciting. It was interesting. We were surprised at the amount of press it generated, which is exciting. It means that chat is exciting.
So what's next? What kinds of features are you guys dreaming up now to add to it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overpromise anything right away, but definitely improving the API so that we can do clients and mobile things, and just sort of doing every feature that the users, taking in the user feedback and figuring out where to go from there.
Yeah. Since you built an API before, what are you thinking of when you're starting to plan out the API?
So the thing that you want in an API is to make it very easy for developers to get started with it. So
yeah, that was Twitter's real.
Yeah.
I remember the first app, Twitter Vision, was built in a couple hours on a Sunday, right? It was very easy for somebody to figure out what it did and build something with it.
Yeah, definitely the most important thing. So we have one endpoint called Live that actually gives you all the live updates for you, and you can easily build cool things like bots, just getting the live updates from the site. So it's really easy to get started. At the root level, Convore is very easy to use, right? But there are things you can do that are more advanced, like IRC. Like in IRC, a lot of people build bots. With our API,
explain what a bot does. People who haven't been on IRC probably are like, what? What's a bot?
A bot looks like a user, right? Looks like a regular user on the service, but it's actually controlled by a program, and it responds to different input in the chat. So, for example, we have a bot that's named EvilBot, and it responds to the phrase "image me." So if you say @EvilBot, like you do on Twitter, like @EvilBot, image me, and any phrase like, say, Kanye West, right? EvilBot will go out and find a photo of Kanye West from Google Images and paste it in the chat. So it's just a fun thing that you can, a fun way to kind of spice up your chat is to have not really human things, but, robots that will do your bidding.
So you could have bots that call the weather, or bots that call
EvilBot does weather too. You can say weather in San Francisco, and it even shows the little picture of what the weather will be like.
What are some other things this EvilBot does?
Oh, it's great. Wikipedia. You can say Wikipedia on a phrase, and it'll go look it up on Wikipedia and send you the link to the. So yeah, it's fun stuff.
So what's the competitive landscape look like for Convore? Tell me what else you see that's similar to what you're doing, or maybe tangential to it.
So there's a couple different aspects to competition. There's the group space. So Convore is, at the initial level, a group, and that's similar to things like Facebook groups or Google groups. So in a way, it's sort of like mailing lists and group apps. It's also similar to products like Yammer and 37 Signals Campfire, which are productivity apps and about collaboration in the business place. So Convore actually could be used in the business place. And it is also similar to IM applications, such as Meebo or AIM or Skype. In that you have these real-time conversations.
Where are you gonna sit, and what?
We're hoping to sit right in the center of those, right? So it's free, easy to use, group, real-time, sort of a mix, but it's also free.
Yeah.
So it's not not necessarily a business app.
Do you see a role for location in chat? Because I know there's a couple of Y Combinator companies that are doing location-based chat, like anybody in this room could chat, you know, and it would know that we're here. But
yeah, I think it's a really interesting concept, and I'm curious to see how that goes. It works really well for groups of people all in the same space at the same time. But I guess that's another way that Convore is a little bit different, is we kind of like it to be, you know, anywhere you are, you can all be participating at the same time.
what surprising have you learned from watching the users of the service? What surprising thing?
So one of the most surprising things we found is at Y Combinator there's a event called Prototype Day, where each group gets up and demos their product for all the other members of Y Combinator. And what we found was people were logging on to Convore and having discussions about what was going on the stage and discussing each of the products as it happened. Yeah. So real-time discussion and back channel for what was going on. And so we really hope to see that come to other conferences. We're actually going to a bunch of conferences and trying to get people going, and because it makes a fantastic back channel.
It does. For speakers, it's unnerving if you're not if you're not used to it or you're not using it. Right?
Well, one of the cool things about this Prototype Day was then when the company was done presenting, they could come back and sit down, and since Convore is all logged and all the history is there, they could go back and read what people had said and respond and answer the questions that they had.
But are you planning to hook into any services like Lanyard or Plancast for events doing that? And do you have any plans for South by Southwest?
So our plans for South by Southwest are a little secret right now, but yes, we're definitely thinking about doing more of like the event-based sort of interaction.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know more about Convore.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming out. It's great to see you again.